What special sweetheart deals did Democratic leadership and the White House have to do in order to get the bill through the House in the last minute? Well, our next guest really wants to know that exact thing, and he has started an official investigation into what was promised and to whom he says the administration broke its promise of transparency, but the public still wants to know.
Congressman from California, Darrell, the ranking member on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, he joins us now. Congressman, some say that these deals are distasteful, but that's only because we haven't been exposed to this level of legislation before. How out of the ordinary was it as you see it right now?
Well, I think the level of what I would call bribes in politics was higher probably than ever before, but the dollars were larger, the stakes were larger, so perhaps there's a little bit of truth in that. The question, though, is if 4 years ago, a decision was made to throw a corrupt Republican Party out, or at least a party that had corrupt individuals in it, then how in the world are we to say it's business as usual? You know, Chris Dodd is leaving the Senate, and yet there was $100 million for a non-named hospital in a non-named location, and the answer was, well, it will be competitively bid, but it's a blank check for $100 million that was thrown in for the people of Connecticut. And that's a very much swing state.
And, in fact, Bret Baier asked the president about that specific deal, and the president didn't answer if it was in there, and apparently it is. Also, it sounds like the Louisiana Purchase is still in there. And, in fact, during that same interview with Bret Baier, the president defended it and said that that would help the people who were affected by Katrina in Louisiana and also the people who were impacted by the Hawaii volcano as well. But that was kind of puzzling.
Well, what's really puzzling is when will the effects of an annual hurricane, no matter how bad, be over? You know, what about Florida? Why aren't they getting something from the one that took out an air base more than a decade ago? It's very clear you can always justify a natural disaster, but can you really do it for a decade to come? Or at some point, isn't it simply aids and payoff to voters that you're trying to get woo back?
Congressman Issa, I know you're not going to start the investigation until this bill passes because you never know what's going to happen. You don't want to waste your time. But some of the things you're going to look at is Congrwoman Suzanne Cosmas. She meets with the president, flips to a yes. We've got to look at the NASA budget because she's right where the Kennedy Space Station is. What about Congressman Costa of California, who all of a sudden gets an increased water supply to the Central Valley District, and he flipped from a no to a yes? Are these the type of things that you think need to be looked at? And after you do look at them, what could happen? Taken away? These people fined? Suspended?
Well, what is done when it comes to the legislation. A bribe does not undo the validity of a vote. It may be an ethics question, although that seldom goes anywhere. One of the challenges of my committee is that my mandate is to look outside of the House of Representatives for waste, fraud, and abuse. So I will be looking to the administration and people in it for who offered what to whom. And in a strange way, it may lead back to my colleagues, but I have to be very careful. It's the misconduct of the administration in passing this. It's the offers. It's like the Sustak offer. When you offer somebody as secretary of blank in return for getting out of a primary, I can't look to anyone now or formerly really in Congress. What I can look to are the people who are creating the bribes or offering things that are basically that are illegal to offer.
All right, so game on with the investigation as soon as it becomes law. Darrell Issa from California, thank you, sir, for getting up early on this Monday after a very long day on Capitol Hill.
Well, thank you for having me on. And remember, the sun did rise today, but it does mean we have a lot of work to do.
All right.
Absolutely.